4. So I think the tracer is, what do you think? Easy. So that's actually the most difficult homework during the course. And so this week we have two options. First is we continue to work on the assignment 4, or you want to work on the final project. What do you like?
So if we choose to work on the assignment 4, that means we have less time to work on project.
Yep. So you have at the end of today, I will announce the group, and then you can start working on your final project. And so let me quickly review the assignment 3 before we can talk about the assignment 4 or the final project. Okay, so for week 4, so we are going to learn about the animation, gesture, and some the container view controller. So this is the thing from week 1 until now. So you learn all something like the network, so how are you going to load the data. But then this is the one that make your app unique. You want to make your app beauty, and then like a lot of cool animation. So today is the one that show you how to do some animation and also some gesture to add into your app. So before we go that one, so I would like to ask some feedback for homework number 3. So is there any feedback or any open input you want to say for assignment 3? Anyone? Is it easy to understand the Twitter API?
Sometimes I see after that maybe the document is not correct.
So the Twitter API document is not correct.
For example, in the Twitter for the API for the favor and favor create and favor destroy. No, retweet. Retweet in the document they said that we should push a string, and after that put the ID in the parameter. Actually, we need to put the ID in the string. So it's good.
Yeah, the Twitter ID they had two forms. First one is the number, actually very long number, and another form is the string. So I'm not sure that's one they require a string, or actually you need to put a number there. But sometimes you need to convert when you get back from the API. The Twitter ID is a string, very long string, and the way they organize the tweet ID is sometimes it's weird. There is mismatch between the string and the actual number. Yeah. And actually, during the time I did that one, I also struggling with that, and we need to play around with that one to get what is the exact value. Yeah. Yeah, so actually Joe this bot the hint for the API, some of the key things you need to look at, so that it might save some time to work with the API. Something like how do you know which one is retweeted, or how do you know if that one has some media inside, some images or some video inside the tweet, then you can display. So from here, who can display the images?
Only one.
Only one. Who can display more than one images? Actually, in one tweet, you will have maximum 4 media. So either 4 picture or video. But to display, if you look at the real Twitter app, you will see that if you have one picture, so it will be full screen like this. If we have 2 pictures, one here, one here. If 3, then one here, one little small here, and another little small here. So that's one is very difficult for doing the auto layout, because you don't know. You cannot set the auto layout at the beginning. You don't know how many pictures they are going to return to you, right? And then if 4 pictures, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So doing that way, you need to a lot of dynamic constraint you need to work on, and actually they are not the easy way to do that one with the UI stack view, but we don't cover that one in this call. The purpose of this call is you master the auto layout. If you are able to finish that one, you really master on the auto layout. Okay, and if you want to watch the you want to save the assignment that implemented the 4 images, you can go to Châu GitHub and clone her GitHub. That's one she implement on 4 picture. Okay. Yep. So in last homework 3, we learned the OAuth, right? And then we learned the where do you use the perform segway with identifier, right? So we had some segway from one view controller to few other view controllers, and then you need to set the identifier for the segway, right? And then set identifier, and then you call the function called perform segway with identifier, right? And by this time you should be able to familiar with the delegate pattern to pass the data back and forth between some view controllers. The dynamic constraint in this assignment, the dynamic constraint we used when we need to hide the if that thread is retweeted from someone else, then you need to show, like for example Dave just retweeted this one, you need to show that that's a little line, or if no, then should dismiss this one. Okay, so here's some common issue. So when we clone some of the project, so like it's missing some of like Xcode project or Xcode workspace, or the board file, you're missing that board file. So when we clone the project, we cannot build and create the homework. So actually, in those cases, we respond, we reply to you and ask to update some of the files. The resource file is not in the access group. So if you notice, we have so in all the project we have the access here. So the best practice is that you group every image into this access. So don't let the image so sit around, right? Just group everything, you drag it into the access. Okay. And so this one, actually no one do this one, so it's not the custom transition. So normally up to now we learn 2 ways of the transition from view controllers, right? The first one is the moduli from the bottom to the top, and the second way is what's that? Push, right? Push is from the right to the left, right? So later in next week we are going to learn some custom transition as well. So you want to customize the transition, then you can write the code yourself. But in this whole also no one did that, so okay. Okay, so here's some highlight. So this is the some top submission for this week. So we have Thiện, Tiến, and Bùi. So good job, guys. Oh, sorry, Nguyên. Where he? Not here. Yeah. So here we have some cool animation, and some they implement a lot of feature. Some a lot of optional user story as well. And later I will put the link here, and then you can go and see how did they implement that one. Okay, so let me talk about the with 4. So actually, if you go to with 4 here, you can see the assignment. So this one is optional, but basically on this assignment, so we are continue to work on the Twitter. So the second part of Twitter, and if we go to the assignment, so it's actually we build something like this. So we build this one. We call the hamburger menu, meaning like if you remember some app like Facebook, if you click, you drag from the screen, so you see the menu from the left side, right? Let me try to open one. Okay, so who is it? Okay, so if we drag to the Facebook is another way. So we drag to the left, from right to left. So it show the menu here. So that's one we call the hamburger menu. So in this case, it's like this. So from the hamburger menu, and then we have some function, some other function like we can use the profile, the user profile, and just like a lot of feature from Twitter. I can demo one of the. Okay, so this is one of the app. This is they already implement with 4. assignment. So this one, the main feature is the same, but then you see here, this is the hamburger menu. So if we click on this one, it switch to the correct to the associated string, and like we have home, then it can go to home, and then have me, then it's go to the current user profile, right? And then for example, it's I click on some account like this, and you see some cool animation. See, when I drag down, it's enlarge the what do we call this one, uh, the cover. Yep. See, and then when we scroll up, the avatar is smaller, it's getting smaller. This one exactly it's actually it might meet from the real Twitter app. If you download the real Twitter app, you can also see some cool animation like this one. Yep. And yeah, so for example, this one they also use why this scroll view, right? They attack another scroll view into the cell, right? This is a table view cell, right? Yeah, some so what's that? Oh, okay. So after this lesson, we learn about animation and some gestures, and we able to implement that one. So we also have some video here for how to implement the hamburger menu if you want to watch on that one. And again, this assignment is optional. If you want to learn more how they do that one, then you can watch the video and implement that one. But from now on, we can start to work on the final project. Later at the end of today, I will announce the group. And by the way, thank you everyone for filling the survey twice. Really sorry about that one. So okay, so any question for this one assignment? Actually, the hamburger menu, if you go and search for the CocoaPod, they already have some library for you ready to use. You don't need to implement that one yourself. If you want to learn how to implement yourself, then you watch this video. If you too lazy and just want to get something instant to use, then go ahead and search for the hamburger menu for the CocoaPod, and you can find this one. Okay, any question before I move on? Assignment? No. Okay, so let's get back to this one. This lecture will gonna be fun, and I will not like too fast and furious like last 3 weeks. I can slow down this time, and feel free if you want to follow, feel free to follow. Okay. So this week we are going to learn about the animation. For animation, we had some function called UI view animate, and then we have some function like this one. So we have some animation with duration. This one and this one is had different like the completion block, right? The first and the second one, the different is the completion block. The third one we have something called delay here. So if we want to delay sometime before, we can do some animation. And the last one is the spring and the spring with damping. So we will go one by one and see. So for this one, we are going to create a. Let me close this one. We are going to create a new project. Let me close everything. Stop. And then so we create a new project, and the single view, right? So I call this one animation, and yes, next. So I put it one here. Okay, so for the purpose of the demo for the animation, I will disable the auto layout. Disable this one, and I move this one like, let me make this smaller, 4 inch. Okay, so first we want to add a image view. Okay, Okay, so I add a image view here, and I will add a button. Okay, so for the buttons, go. Let's make some color for the button. Okay. Okay, and then for the image view, I want to load some image, and I already downloaded one of the image with the a bear. So whatever the image you want, just download whatever. So here, if you notice this one, I put the add and then 2s. So what does it mean?
The size and the width.
Right. So if you already know about that one, then that's one when you drag the image into the access, right? You click on the access and then you drag the image here. When it says 2s, then it will automatically put that one into the 2s for you. Why do you need to set that one to 2s? Because like the iPhone screen, so we have few screen size, right? The 3GS and then 4, that's one is not Retina. From the 5 and above, that's one Retina screen. And for the Retina, we need to put the resolution in 2s. Even this one 2s, but then it go to the screen size, so it will be scaled back to correct resolution on the phone screen. So here, if you want to build your app to multiple screen size, you need to put that one into 1s, 2s, and 3s. 3s and 4 for what? 3s is for iPad, very big screen. You need the 3s. If you don't put that one into 3s, then your image will be like broken when you view the image on the screen, right? So in this one, we just run. Currently, we just run our app on like iPhone 5s or 6 or 6 Plus, something like that. We have never run on iPad or never run. We don't want to run back to iPhone 4 or like very small screen. So all the time we put the image into the 2s resolution. Okay, so you just name the image like this one with the s the s sign and then 2s, and when you plug in it, S code will put that one into the 2s for you. Okay, so let's go back to this one. So I select the image view and then okay. So here the image I want is to be because we disable the auto layout, right? So that's why we able to change the size here. If we use the auto layout, we need to set the constraint, right? Remember, if we set the auto layout, then you need to click on this one and then set the width and the height, which is the constraint. And in this case, I only disable that one, so I just use here. So I say this one 100 and then 100. Okay. So we have a little bear there. Okay, and then I just use this one. I don't need to create another view controller. So I go back to this one and I will create a outlet for the bear. Okay, so we will say bear image, right? Okay, and then we want to write the action for this button on go, and then this one should be the action, right? And the type the UI button. Okay. Okay, so here when we tap on the go and then we want to do some animation with this bear. Okay, so what do we want first? So let's check on some of the UI view dot animation. Animation. Okay, so when you type animate, it will list down here 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so we want to go with the easiest one first, with this one, animate with duration. Okay, so the duration is how long you want that animation to be happening, right? So I set here like 1 second, and then the animation in this animation block, what do we want to do here? So let me just open this file. Okay, so we want to, for example, now I want to move the bear from here to to go to some location here. Okay, so we have the pair image dot center. So we have few things here. Center. What does it mean by center? Go back to this one. So the image here, the center is the center point of the image, right? We have something else like the we can get the corner of the image, which is the top left corner of the image, and either way you can use that one or use the center one. So I use the center one first, center, and then so one point we have two elements, right, x and y. So I want to move the pair down, then it should be y, right? Okay, so is it still able to plus equal before it's U2, but I don't know if in Swift still. Let's check. And in this block we need to put cell, right? Okay, and then no, not C plus. Let's change back to 5S. Okay, here so we have a little pair here and the button. So when we click go, see, so it's smoothly move from the top position to this location. Okay, so this one thing you need to notice. In this case, I disabled auto layout, right? Then we can use this one. We can use something called center and then dot y. If I enable the auto layout, what should we do?
Constraint.
Yep. If we enable the auto layout, everything is controlled by the constraint, right? Then you need to set the constraint for the pair. So it before here, right? So you set the constraint for the pair from here to the bottom of the screen, and then you change that constraint. You cannot set the like center dot y anymore. You need to so in here you will have something like you will drag the constraint here, and then here like you say the constraint dot constant, right? This one is in last class I didn't say, but when I go back and I put one more slide, so you need to use this one. So the constraint dot constant, and then you set this one to like equal to 100 or something, then it can move. Okay. So later if you want to go with the auto layout constraint, dynamic constraint, then we can do that way. But in this class we just use this one. Okay, so that's first one, but not really interesting, right? So we want to do something more with the animation. So UI view dot animation. Okay, so what else? That's the first one, right? And then okay, this one, the second one. The second one is the one with the completion block. What does it mean by completion? So I still put one here, and then the animation, and then the completion. So this is the pooling. So I just say finish, and then okay, we had the code here for the completion. So at first I still want to do this one, right? Let's comment out this one. Okay, so first is still move the pair from there to lower 300 pixels, and then when it finished move the pair there, what do we want to do with the pair? For example, I save here like cell dot pair image dot transform. Okay, so what does it mean by transform? Yep, change something, right? So for the transform, we can do something like we can make the image zoom in or zoom out, make it smaller, or make the image rotate. So we have two things: scale. The zoom in, zoom out we call scale, and the another feature is to rotate. So it means it can rotate left, right, like this one. Okay, so we try to make the this one. What do we want? Zoom in first. Okay. Transform. So how do we set the transform? So okay, so if we click on transform, it say this one is the type of transform is what? CG or phi transform. You see? So you want to set it to something like CG or phi transform. Okay, so we have here CGA. Let me type that one. Okay, transform scale. So if we use this one transform scale, we for example I want to make the pair bigger, so now we can use the transform, right? But for the transform scale, it has 3 parameters. The first one is t. T is the current transform, and the s is the sy. How do you want to scale the s position, the s axis and the y axis, right? But in this case, we need to put something t here. That's one is difficult. I want to do something easier first, then make. Okay, we have another one here, the mesh scale. So mesh scale, you see, we only had 2 parameters, right? So I use this one, and I say I want to make it double in both s and y. Okay, so let's try with this one first. Okay, I click go. Boom. See? Do it again. I should have some button say reset here to move it back to the original position. I don't need to every time and run again. Okay, so you look at this. So when I click go, it moves down and boom. Right? So mean when it finish, it will scale the image like 2s. Right? Okay. So what if we want to use the scale? No, sorry. Yeah, we just use the CG or phi transform scale. We don't use the make. Then we need to put another parameter here. So what that parameter is the let me remove everything and see what is the suggestion. Right. So we have another. The first parameter is also another CG or phi transform. So for this one, you need to put the current transform of this image. So you put here the cell dot, okay, this one. So the first one will be the cell dot image dot transform. There's something wrong with this one. I don't know. And yeah, I said make it smaller, just 1.5 and 1.5. Okay, go, boom. So it's still doing the same, but the difference is that here you want to make 1.5 and 1.5 from this transform, right? You make the scale from this, the first parameter. The previous one, if I had a make here, so it will use the transform from this one, from the current transform. In this case, for example, sometimes you don't want to scale based on this transform. You want to set like 2s of something else, and you need to put something else in the first parameter, right? But normally is the easier way. We just use the mesh transform, and then it because we want to be bigger of that image only. We don't want to scale regarding to something else. Okay. So we cover the first two, right? What else? Like UI view dot animation. Okay, what else do we have? So where the damping one with UI animation with duration. Where the damping chỗ? This one. Okay, so this one you see we have so the duration I just put 1 second again. The delay I don't want to delay. So if this one you want to delay, for example, after 1 second after you load the app, then you start to do the animation, then you can put the delay here, but I don't want the delay. I should 0. Okay, so this is the string with damping, spring with damping. So why the spring, right? The spring is like this. cái lò xo. Okay, in Vietnamese. Okay, so the spring and then the damping is what? When it hit to something, so it bounce back, right? So we want to ESCO only have the pre-built function like this one. So we want to, for example, to animate this one, it hits something, it's bounce back like this one. So the damping is the value from 0 to 1. 1 meaning what? 1 meaning when it hit and then it just stay there, no bounce back. Like you drop something very heavy and then you drop, boom, just sit there. It not bounce back. And 0 it means hit and then bounce very high, right? So you can play around with that number. So I just put 0.5 here, and then this one, the initial sprint velocity. So just some number, the initial velocity for the, like you drop something, it's how fast you drop that one. So I just put 10 for now. Option I put new for now. Okay, so then an animation and then the completion. Okay, so the completion, let's put new for now. If you don't want to do anything in the completion, just put it new. Oh, the option should not be new, it just should be empty array. Okay, so option later we will plug in some of the options to see how it interacts, but in this case we just put the empty array, so no option, just basic thing. So for example, I use this one, and then let's comment out this one. Okay, so we can see how it react when it do something like spring damping. See, didn't see that. I need to do it again. Look at this. See, so in we go down, go back like a spring, right? Okay, so that's another cool animation. Okay, so next we want, what do we want to do with this one? We still have yeah, so let me comment out this one. I want the bear to, is it? Okay, so the bear go down, and then what else? It zoom bigger, and what else do we want to do? Okay, so when it go down, I want it to be waving. Now we use the rotate, for which I use the transform, right? And now we use the rotate. So how are we going to do the rotate? Same thing, cell dot pair, make then transform. Again, CG of file transform, and you will able to find something called make rotation. Okay, so make rotation here. So we need to put an angle here. So the angle is CG float. So let's say angle is for example, I want it to rotate 10 degrees to the right. Right. So this position is 0 degree. So it rotates 10 degrees to the right, like this one. It move from this one to this one. Okay, so let me add but then this one is not a degree, it's in the radius, so we need to convert the 10 degree to radius. So 10 so this is the constant for pi, right? To convert a number a degree to pi, then multiply to radius, then multiply that's 1 by pi, and then 180, and then we need to convert this one into the CG float, right? Okay, and I should put the angle here. It's okay. So right, so after I made it to S, no, I should, okay, I should make it drop 300 pixels first, and then I made it to S 1.5 bigger, and then I rotate 10 degrees to the right. Okay. Where is it? Okay, so it's go bigger, and then okay, not see too fast. No, actually it's not too fast. If you see from here, the two action is happening at the same time. So when we put this animation and then this animation equal, it's happen at the same time, right? This one lasts for 1 second, but it not wait for 1 second and it run this one. If you want this one to last for 1 second, then we start this one. Then we need to put everything into the completion, right? Okay, so what I just did, I move this block into the completion block. So after it go down, it will make the pair bigger, and then in finish it will rotate. So try to see what happened. Okay, so let's go down bigger, and then this is rotate. Okay, so what happened? So here we use another transform. We set another transform, but in this case it didn't remember the current transform from the pair, right? If we want to put the this one, after we set this one to be 1.5, we want it to stay there bigger, right? And then rotate. So we need to let transform equal to, so just
So
copy.
we remove the max on the conditions.
Yes, we need to remove this one, and when we remove the mat, and then it will be transform rotate, no more rotation but rotate. Yep, this one. And then we need to put two things here. The first one I will put the transform here, and then the angle is, where is it? Okay, so just remove this one. Oh, oh. Okay, let's see. Okay, go bigger. See, so it's just a little. So we increase this one to like 20. Okay, so it's go here, bigger, and like this. It's not cool, right? It's like this. We want some smooth transition, so it's smooth moving, right? And like if we want to do that one, we need to put this one in another animation, right? So when you're using animation, we want to do some very cool animation. You need to nest the animation into another animation. So a lot of you need to like combine the action so that it can create some cool transition for you. Is it? No, not. The transition. Sorry, the animation. Not all the time you want to do a bunch of animation. Just sometimes we want to do some like the transition between one view or to another view, or some when you first run the app, you want to show some demo or something. You make some animation. During the app running, you don't want to do a lot of animation, right? So again, we need to put this one into another animation, right? So UI view dot animation, and it's go with the simplest one. We don't want anything. Okay, so duration here we want 0.5 seconds, and for the animation we put this one in. Okay, then run.
So what is the fixed point of rotation? What the fixed point of rotation?
Or it will rotate the center point. It will rotate along this center point. Okay, so it go here, bigger. See, now it's smoother. Where the option? I remember before I had something called option, and I set that one to this side. Remove it. Okay, it's look like I remove it. Okay, let me put it back again. UI view dot animation with duration, right? And then the option is this one, right? 1.0 delay 0, and then option before we put like this one, right? And animation here, the completion block just put new. Okay, so I want to move this one. We want to try with something here, the option. What is some of the option we can try here? So let's move this code. Where do we want to move this one? So okay, let I move this one to this animation block. Okay, so I put on the thing here. Okay, let me move this one. Okay, so some of the option, what do we have? So if you then reverse. Okay, this is some of the option for the, you see here, the type is UI view animation options. Okay, if you type this one and then it will list down some of the things we can use here. So for example, I say I want to repeat this action, right? I add the option we can repeat. Is it? Okay. So what does it mean by repeat? So it will automatically repeat this action, right? Let's run and see. Okay, go get bigger. See, I want to make the bear waving, like say hello, or no, say goodbye. But then, what do you notice? It's still like not smooth, right? After it go to this way, it put back to the original position. We want something like smooth, go back to this location. Don't want to be like this, right? Okay, so we need to continue to move this one. So there are another thing. So for this one is an array, so we can add multiple option here. So there are another option called auto reverse. This one, auto reverse. Okay, and then let's see. Go bigger. See, right? So it automatically revert back to original position, smoothly move back to original position, not like poop, right? Okay, so any questions so far for this one? So for the parameter, so for and the number as well, you can play around with the number, see how the effect of the number, and also the option. So we have some option as well. So if you tie down the option and then it will list down, it has some tip to explain what does it mean by the for example, let I say
Excuse me.
yep.
I want to repeat after several times, number of times.
So you just want to repeat, so like say five times, then that one you need to manually
Stop.
yep, stop, no, not stop, but you do that one. You have look to do the animation. Remember you have something like delay. Okay, so for the delay here, you put everything into a for loop, for the loop from 1 to 5, and then you do this animation. But every time you need to add the delay here, delay in, because it will like if you don't put the delay there, it will run 5 in continuous, no, in parallel, and actually it will happen at the same time. Right? The delay is the one you able to control. You want to delay that animation until a certain time, then you can start running that animation. Okay. So yeah, I I just say here. So for example, if you it has some other changes option as well, and it has some explanation here. You can read. So for example, this one curve is in mean that it will begin slowly and then speed up, right? And then we had the curve is out, then it will fast at first and then it slow down, and curve is in out meaning fast. Slow then fast then slow. For the animation, if you want to do that. Yeah, so you can play around with that one. The last thing we haven't talked about is what we still have one function. What is that? UI view dot animation. Okay, this one. Animate keyframe with duration. So what does it mean? So from beginning until now, we only talking about the animation which had two stages. The initial state and the end state, right? For example, the initial state you want the bear here, and then the end state you want it go there, go this position. So just one starting point and one end point. If in this case, the animate keyframe with duration, if you want to do something like complicated animation, you want your bear go to zigzag like this, right? Or you want it like zoom in, zoom out few times. Every time you have different scale, for example like that. Then you can use this function, and then in this function we need to manually add each stage in. Okay, so the same we have the duration and delay 0 option. I put 0 now, and then animation, and then completion I put new. Okay, so when we use the animate keyframe, one thing we need to add is you put add key. You see here the add keyframe with relative start time. So this one is the one you add. Every time you add one, it will be one state of your animation. For example, you want your bear go from this point to this point to this point, so 3 points, right? You need to manually add those 3 points into this animation, right? Okay, so we have something here, the frame start time. This one, for the first one, is always 0. It starts from 0. Okay, the relative duration, you see, the total time for this animation is 1 second, right? And in relative duration, how much from that 1 second you want for this state, right? For example, I want to allocate this state like 20%, so I say 1 for 5, and then what is the animation for this one? So this one, if I move the bear to some position of, like for example, I say I don't want to add the Y, I want to add S 40%, 40 point. Then I add another keyframe. Okay, this is the second one, and the start time will starting from this time, right? It will start from here. So I put this one here, and then I add another. Okay, so let's make it bigger. I don't want to add so many. 1/3, and then another 1/3. This one will be so this one I add another 1/3 for this action. So now I want to add, for example, at the Y position for 100, and then one last one. This will be starting from 2/3, and then the last 1/3 of the time I will use for the last action. So I want to move this one like Y plus one more 100, and then symbol. Okay, so I minus the S for. Okay, so something like this. So it will go from this point, it move to the S position, and then go down to Y position, and then the last one is go down and go back like this one. So let's see if we able to make this last one. I just command this one. Okay, so go there. See, too fast. I made it slower. I create that one to 3 seconds. So this is the proportional. So meaning 1/3 of 3 seconds will be 1 second. So 1 second move to this way, 1 second move to this way, and 1 second move this way. Okay, so look again. 1 second move that way. 1. See. That's one the way you do the custom path. So if you want to move your thing around in a custom path, then you do it that way. And actually, I had an example here. It even cooler. So let me copy this one and try to run. Let's see. Okay, let's comment out this one and move the thing here. Oh, so it's bare, not brown. Okay, so always remember the keyframe. We need to add the keyframe here. We need to manually add the keyframe here, right? I think I missed one line. Yes, I did 2 lines. Okay. Put the 2 lines here and save it. Okay. So actually this one I don't move it around, but I want to make it like zoom in, zoom out a few times, like create the bouncing effect. Right, I click go. See? Yep. So we create some animation bouncing like that one. See? Yep. So that's about the animation. Any question on that one? Right. So this is some of the animatable property, meaning some property we can animate with. So the origin is the top left corner. If you don't want to use the center point, you can use the origin. That also the CG point. It also has the X and Y. So it's same with center, but it's up to you. You want to use the origin or you want to use the center. And then alpha what?
Display high color.
The alpha is the transparency. If you want to change the alpha is from 0 in totally transparent, so you can see through the background. If you set the alpha to 1, so it blocks on the background. So you can play with that one. And then the frame is the width and the height. If you want to make the pair bigger, like 2x, you don't want to use scale, you can adjust their frame. Okay, and the power same with the frame. The power is also the outer boundary of the image. And then transform is what we talk. So transform had 2 things, right? The scale and then the rotate. We want to make it scale bigger, smaller, or rotate left, right, something like that. And remember the rotate everything in radius system. It's not a degree system. So you need to do like multiply by m pi and then divide by 180. Okay. The background color this is not really interesting. So it's just like right now the background is blank, right? It's transparent background. If you want to change the background to red or something, you can set that one. So it will gradually change the color from white to red, something like that. Right, and then the last one is the content strength. Remember the content strength at the beginning when we set the image, it will like scale to fit or like aspect fit aspect fill. So we can change that property. Okay, any question on this? Now you can play around with on the property. This is the only property can animate. Don't try with other one. Okay. Okay, so yeah, review. We have the first one, the easiest one. Nothing there, no completion block. The next one is the completion block. This one we have a delay here in the option, right? And for the CG or file transform, make, and then if the easiest one is just you make, then you don't need to input the first parameter. You say you want it to make it bigger to the current one, and if you want to just put the scale here, you need to input the first parameter. What is the transform, so that it will reference from the first parameter. For example, say 2s from the first parameter, because sometimes like we combine few transform, right? We need to save the transform and use that transform at the input of the next one, right? For example, before we made it bigger and then made it 2s bigger, we need to save that transform and use that one to put in the next animation block to make it rotate, right? So same thing, make rotation and rotate. Okay, this is how do we convert a number from degree to radius. Okay, so core animation. Actually, there one thing. All the thing we just talk right now is about 2D, right? Anyone see anything that with 3D animation? Not game. We're not talking about game here. So it also has something 3D. So have anyone ever use any app that see some 3D? So for now we have X and Y, right? 3D is what? The layer. So remember when we add subview, right? When we add some subview or you insert the subview at index, right? That's one is the Z position. When you add the subview, it's always on the top, right? So on that way you can animate that the layer. You can change the position of the layer. For example, it's first layer. If you want to put it back or something, then we can use this one. But not really cool. We just see basically this one 2D. Just see 2D animation. That's cool enough. You don't want to add another 3D like the Z position. The G position you just want to do something like the custom animation or something when you change from one view to another view. Right. But if you want to use, so it's CA transform 3D rotate. If you want to use it.
I saw there is a thing in the condition. You feel it at the finish. So what is
no, actually that's one you don't need to put anything there. Just for that's just a value of variable. Say if it finish or not. Normally, if you finish the animation, will not crash unless you do something funny. Right. So it's able to reach that. Also, when it's reached to that point, so you don't need to check that parameter. It's one way finish. Okay, so again the spring is with the damping effect, and remember the using spring with damping, this one from 0 to 1. 1 is no bounce, just hit and then stay there. Very heavy one, hit something and just stay there. Later in the call we will learn about how we are going to add the weight to the item, and then interact though the item interact together, and has like we have some physical behavior for the item. For example, like you know the game Flappy Bird, right? Yeah, for example we add the weight for the bird, and then when it hit to the pie, and then the pie should fall down or the bird should fall down, something like that. If we set the weight for the bird is very heavy, and then hit to the pie, and the pie should broken, not the bird. Later in the call we will learn how to build the Flappy Bird. Very quick and easy one. Okay. Keyframe animation. Remember those two things need to go together. So the second one will be nested into the first one, right? You want your animation have 5 states, and you need to add this one 5 times. Okay. Gesture. So before we move to gesture, let's have 5-minute break and we talk about this one.
Thank you.